So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up?
Yo. Ah, the man, the legend.
Hey, are you okay, my brother?
Man, all things considered, I am good. I'm alive, I'm breathing. That's the important thing, you know.
Considering everything else.
No, that disclaimer. That disclaimer is very important because to just say no, I'm fine. Hey, especially these days. Go back tree, because we know there's a lot of things. But yeah, I think we're gonna hit this ground running. You know, for the people who don't know who Pule is, the other time when we were talking, and I was like, Pete Drum was like, my brother Pete Drum, I'm like, oh, that's just Pule, it's on the table now. Yeah, but the people who don't know who Pule is,
yeah, man, I'm Pule Mpeke. Well, Pete Drum is a name, I think it's stuck now because Joseph still uses it till today. Without fail.
So it's there. It's a name. The name.
Yeah, but I'm a young man from a small town called Slagsdorp, Komatrosana in Northwest. That just really loves music and is pretty much doing it for a living. And this is where I'm at. Hey, I've been playing drums. Well, I started when I was about 12. That's a story for another day.
Actually, for today.
Yeah, that other day is today, actually.
This
is the other day, but it's fine.
Yeah, but my introduction to music was actually from my dad. So my dad has always been like passionate about sound and stuff. So he got me my first keyboard when I was like 6. So that was the first instrument I learned how to play. And then I found myself playing drums. And yeah, this is me in a nutshell. Married to one wife, as pastors would say.
Hey, another disclaimer.
Yeah, with 2 kids. So yeah, I'm a family man, musician that just loves music. Yeah.
So now, as a child in Matlosana, how was your childhood? Yeah. Going to Aninjan, how were you as a young boy?
Sure, I can't remember much of it, but from what I'm told, I was a pretty decent young kid. Eh? I was going through some stuff the last time I went home, and I found a certificate for the best groomed kid in grade 1.
Okay.
So apparently I was always neat, tidy, tie was intact. Shiny, you know. So I think that sort of puts me in a good place to say, no, I was a decent kid. But growing up so actually I was born in Lesotho. Then lived in Free State, Kovelkom.
Okay.
For about 12 years. Then my dad moved over to the Northwest because of work. But so there's both of these experiences. In Valcom, I grew up around a lot of white kids. We lived in a very white neighborhood. I had a white young boy as a best friend. Then when I got to Northwest, things changed. I'm also surrounded by people that look like,
people that can know English.
Still in the burb, but there were more of us.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So it was an interesting phase growing up in. You know, my dad has always been like a right hand to the pastor to a certain extent. He's ordained now, so I grew up in church basically, around music, around all the guys. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good enough answer.
No, it's very good. So the first time you played with other musicians, do you remember who were they, especially when you played drums? The first time you played.
So
not the keyboard.
Here's that story. So what happened is when I moved to Northwest, my dad joined a certain church, which at that time was pretty dominant in terms of Kasi church music. They had a good choir, you know, it was that vibe. So one day, it happened that actually before that, you know, Muskogasi, we have these big conferences where all these branches come together and there's a vibe.
Yeah.
So the one time, the drummer slept at our place. that was the first time I saw drums. I was about 10 years. So I saw him over the weekend playing this thing, and it sort of like caught my interest, you know. But obviously, I didn't learn anything. I was like, whatever. Conference ends. I'm a teen.
We're
trying to figure this thing out. But that didn't last long. It probably went on for like a week or so. Then I was like, whatever. Let me go play with other kids.
Yeah.
2 years down the line, we're in Northwest at church, and the guys know there that okay, this kid used to play keyboard. He sort of sings, so it's that vibe. So this one time, the drummer goes to the bathroom during service. So as he goes to the bathroom, they start singing a song, and the keyboard player calls me up. He's like, "Hey man, can you just sit here and just give me like just tempo this thing and give us a pulse?"
Yeah,
you know. And I got there, I did that, and then started playing. Literally, that was my first experience playing drums, and I played a full song, and the rest is history. That's literally my experience of drumming. And funny enough, I bumped into this player this past weekend in Rustenburg.
The drummer.
The keyboard player.
The keyboard player.
The keyboard player.
All right. What's his name?
His name is Neva.
Okay. So you're also two-piece.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, hey, because three-piece was a thing that happened when the church had mine. You see, when you saw a live bass in church, it was like, yeah. So you can have that thing here. Bass was here.
I thought it was a TV thing for the longest time.
Yeah. Most definitely, yeah. It was a TV thing because bass, the keyboard player that couldn't play bass was such a weak piano player back in the day. It was like, hey, this guy, you only play this. Where's the bottom end? Something's missing.
Yeah.
We don't want that guy. Okay, so same thing. You're also like a two-piece thing then.
Yeah. So that's literally my journey of drumming. From that moment, I started playing going forward up until where we're at today.
All right.
So this is at 6 years?
This is at 12. The drumming is at 12.
Oh, 12.
But for we were saying we're all fathers here. So, this is the level. Yeah. But yeah, next time was about that. Yeah,
Don't mind us. So, Bule. So at the age of 12, you're starting drumming. You play. Is this playing at church or just with other small bands, Yana? So
it was mostly playing at church, and then it later evolved into like your young groups around. I became this young kid. Was it dropping Nogalama drums? I used to put
you didn't have a choice,
like,
right?
in my back pocket. So
there was no choice, really, because Itama is a pastor, so you really had to do something at church.
Yeah, definitely. So from church to like the smaller gospel groups, smaller bands. Towards my high school years, that's what I started playing with like your jazz guys in and around. Let's stop. There was a band called why am I forgetting them? I forgot their name, but it was a quite popular jazz band. One of the first few guys that I saw. They were on Afro Cafe at some stage. I'm sure Lulu knows them.
Yeah, well.
They had this song.
What's the band name?
Wait, sing the song again.
So they had this song. It was quite popular. And it's like an old nursery thing, but they turned it into a jazz band. Jazz vibe, I mean.
Was it a group of people, a group of singers, or was it just they were just playing and singing?
It was like a 4-piece band that sung and
that had mics
and played. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounded wrong. That had mics. 4-piece band. Sorry. No disrespect to the guys. But yeah, maybe let's just quickly jump into the questions. We have a few questions from Facebook. The first one is from Drama Sticks Crafts. Hey, hard names on Facebook there. Ish Sanbonani. Okay, let me firstly say that his drumming approach is solid and different. I mean, that Lebogang Gapula's album is too proper. Like I can't even explain the feeling. My question is, what does worship mean to you?
Sure.
In relation to your drumming? The last bit of the question is, how would you describe a moment of you connecting with God through drumming? Amen. Amen. Marine question mark.
Sure. So early.
See it put.
So the first question, what is worship to me in relation to my drumming? I think for me, my drumming has got nothing to do with worship. I think for me, worship is a response to what I believe God has done for me as an individual. And one of the ways I can sort of give that back to him is by the talents that he's given me. I recently heard this statement that said, God proposes to us with the gifts that he gives us. And what we do with those gifts, how we steward them, is our response to how he proposed to us. So in a nutshell, that's how I've always viewed worship, that it's literally just a way of me responding to what God has done to me. To me and for me, in a sense.
Yeah.
No.
And then there was
the second one is, how would you describe a moment of you connecting with God through drumming? So how would you describe that moment?
So there's that specific recording actually, the Christ Revealed, the live version, not the unplugged. There's a song that we sang, went on for a good 45 minutes probably. We serve a great and mighty God. And in that moment, at some point, I found myself not being able to play. And I think I was in a journey of questioning the whole thing of spiritual gifts, your tongue speaking, all of these weird things that we get crucified for as Christians. And I was reading a story from God's generals about Azusa Street, that revival that happened there, how a certain lady started playing piano through that whole revival. And for me, in that recording, I remember this moment where I stopped playing, and for the first time, I started praying in tongues unintentionally, So for me, that's the biggest moment I think I've had in my drumming career in the space of worship and ministry.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you, just before I let Leroy ask, read the next question. Okay. There's a time I heard that you are not taking gigs that are not gospel. Does that still stand?
Not necessarily. I think it's more of a. I don't think it's about the gospel per se. I think it's more of just belief systems, for lack of better words.
So sometimes, sorry to cut. So sometimes, even if it's a gospel gig, you might not take it if it clashes with your belief.
Belief system feels very very loose. But maybe let me say maybe moral stance. Maybe go with that.
Yeah.
So there's gospel gigs that I would also just decide, no, I'm not going to do this primarily because I feel like it's going to be more of a frustration to me than an edification, and not even financially. I think for me, when I do a gospel gig, I don't want to go there because you're paying me well. I want to go there and still have an experience with everyone, with the team, even with the ministry that we partake in. So, yeah.
Right.
So it's more of a moral thing than a genre thing.
Oh, okay. So you still do take gigs that are not gospel, as long as morally you are connecting.
Yeah. There's just a vibe, man, that you get, and then you decide, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a nuisance here. There's nothing wrong with everyone. I'm the problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick out here.
Yeah.
Like a sore thumb. All right, Lee, take that next one.
Hey, moral, so I see you're very well groomed in your moral values and in the ethics, whereby you come across as a person all straight and upright. In deciding which gigs to take and not to take. Wow, that's incredible. Abanye abantu bahambisa ngesisu, so if it's a paying gig, why not?
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like I choose gigs because I have money or I'm sorted. I think it's just one of those things where I feel like I'd rather be happy at home without money than out there and come back frustrated and then frustrate the people that are in my life for a certain period of time. I feel like I'm losing more than gaining in that regard.
No, true.
I made that choice once as well. Yeah. That thing, it saves a lot, because imagine you'll end up going to a gig, over frustrated, and everything happens at that gig. And I will tell you, put.
Once
straight, you don't make time.
So there's also
there's another question we have here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, after you.
No, go for it. I think we've got a slight delay.
Okay, so we have here Ubonga Ndlovu, who asks, who influences or influenced his style of playing? How does he prepare for every performance? Yeah, new school sextet. Because we actually support issue we get it. Issue Umalakos.
Thanks, Mr. Bonga. So my influence of playing is very weird, hey? So I started off in the gospel space, and then when I got to Pretoria to study music, I got to meet new people, started learning about new stuff. I figured out there's something called YouTube at the age of 18.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. So when I got here, then I started hearing about guys like Foreplay. I got introduced to Chris Dave at some stage, and I became like a fanatic over his style of playing. Chris Dave and Questlove at the time. So a lot of the stuff that I did with New School Sextet was inspired around the way those guys sort of think about their playing, just trying to move around the click, if I can put it that way. Just not playing on time per se. So a lot of stuff I did with Sextet was around that, and the guys' compositions also allowed for that. And they're like, hey, here's a song, do whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll try again.
Sure.
And the preparation really for anything I did with Sextet was literally listening to the music that the guys enjoyed listening to.
Okay.
For example, is a crazy Marcus Miller fan. So there's certain stuff that because he loved that, I would intentionally just listen to some Marcus Miller and figure out stuff that Marcus likes doing that Fura would also do. Then that sort of like put us on the same page. Almost as a crazy Yellow Jackets fan, not hair for. So I would also reference around those guys, like, okay, Tempo's melodies generally have this vibe. So I think you would like to hear that. So that was literally my preparation process with the stuff with Sextet. But over the years, it became so natural. When we get onto it, we get into it.
Yeah.
And because of the vibe with the guys, stuff just happens on stage. Yeah.
No, most def. Nabantwana engibazwayo angikho ukuthi bayiphi incebo. Otokuningi ngizwayo. All right. So I think the last question we've got is Mongezi. Mongezi Koketso. What mine is that how do you deal with the royalties after producing a project? It says, and why is it important to young up and coming musicians to know about it? I guess he's talking royalties.
That's a very good question.
It's a very good question.
Sure. I think for me, a lot of it is integrity, man. I think when I get an opportunity to produce anything, I always try to have an honest conversation with the artist to say, hey, if you want me to produce, I've got this fee, but then because of the way things are run in this country specifically, I would like a certain percentage of the product in terms of your royalties, especially if you're doing a lot of compositions, just to say, either in the author space or lyricist space, we can figure something out there as well.
Okay.
And then there's others that are open to say, hey, listen, man, I want you to do this thing, and I've done some research. I heard something about a 6% type of thing. So it's stuff that we always relationship things
talk about, yeah.
that has kept me sane in that space, And I think also I've recently just started trying to get my business side of things in order as well. If I'm giving you a song, I'm gonna register it myself, make sure that stuff is sorted out, so that later on we don't have issues without but I changed the way saying that.
Yes, yeah, but it was my song.
to avoid those issues. And I think the question of how important is it is that as a musician, we are business people, It's just that we learn it later in life. I think that the younger guys are more fortunate now because they have resources, they have access to everyone because of social media. It's become so easy to get information. Okay, I've got a guest here. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Yeah. So
hello. It's a family show.
Hello,
Leroy, your camera is load shedded. I don't know. I can't see you. Have you? I don't know what happened to your video.
I'm around.
Your video is gone. All right, cool. Yeah. Jump onto it.
So I was saying, just before you come on, Leroy, I think for the younger guys, get your business in order, know what you're worth, and know what being a producer actually means. It's not about arranging or coming up with lines.
Sure.
Know what your business is, know what you need to do, and know what you need to do to secure your bag as a producer, not just as a sessionist or MD.
No, strong.
Yeah.
Go for it, Lee.
So I'm a strange arranger. I'm a cheater. Should leave it behind for rehearsals and then stick on doing the business work. You're a person operating at Ama brands. You like to associate brands a lot. My first question on that is, what's the plug, man, on the Be Present vibe? What's going on? Can we see more of it? Can we be plugged in? See if I get
There's a business presentation right there. Quick.
Yeah. So this Be Present vibe is actually my own thing, I started it.
Don't.
Yeah. So I started it just in the middle of that hard lockdown. Yeah, in that first 21 days that has led us to a full year.
Yeah.
So I think I found myself sort of in conversation with friends and stuff, how everyone was just saying, I can't wait for this lockdown to end. I want to do this. I want to do that. And others were saying, you know what? I wish this thing didn't happen because I was busy doing this and. And then this one time I bumped into the scripture in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. I'm just going to paraphrase it. It says there's a time and season for everything, and then it goes on. There's a time to be happy. There's a time to cry, and. So just when I was thinking about it and reading it, I had this thing of, wow, we spend so much time thinking about where we're going or where we come from, but we never get to be present in the moment that we're in right now.
Sure.
The moment that, yes, I'm in this lockdown, but what am I going to do to enjoy this specific lockdown that I'm in, So that's where the whole concept of Be Present came in, just to say, hey, man, things change. Things could have been good. Things can get bad. But in the moment that you're in, be present in it so that you can learn whatever you need to learn from it. And I just figured, hey, I think this is something I can put on a few items and just encourage people out there, man. And and it's not even Christian based. I think generally as people, we all go through stuff that just make us want to go back or want us to focus on what's coming next, but not be happy in what's happening now. There's a post I saw on Facebook recently of a guy saying we spend so much time praying for certain things,
present, yeah,
and now now we pray for the next thing, but
we're not enjoying what we're having now. What you used to
not
pray
enjoying
for.
the things that we have prayed for. Exactly,
Crazy.
So that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea of the present merch. So it's gonna come out soon. I'm just working out on like an online store vibe. I don't want to do it small, man. I don't want to deal with WhatsApp messages, inbox.
Yeah.
Go
pay or go home.
I want it to be done well. Hit me up on the website. Let's get it up and running. You get your merch, and we do this thing.
All right, go for it, Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here in Durban, so we'll represent you well here in Durban.
Coming, my friend. Watch the space.
It's locked down.
So we push our skin down. Say I push a lento.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yokinda, Wakamakasi, man. There's a project, another project I saw you working on. Encounter Worship.
Yeah,
How was that working? How was that for you working on that project? And the kind of people that you worked with.
Yeah, that was a very interesting one. So Encounter Church is the church that I'm currently serving in for the past year and a half. So the pastor one day just said, "Hey guys," so they had singles before, and then the pastor was like, "Hey guys, I think I want a new song type of vibe happening." So we got together with a few of the worship team guys. Peter Jamba is also part of the worship team. We got a few of the guys there, and we started writing the song called "Fight for Me." And yeah, we came up with a song basically in 2 weeks, literally, that needed to be done because there was a conference happening, and he wanted it to be ready for that conference. So for me, it was difficult in a sense that I'm getting to produce someone of the caliber of Peter Jamba, for example, and having to call someone like Mwabi to come and arrange voices, and having to get like Carlo and then be the one to say, these are some of the guys that I look up to big time in the industry. And then I found myself in this space where now I have to say, I think I would like to hear this. I think I would like to hear this. So it was difficult in that sense, but the process, I love it. I've always loved seeing someone's ideas come to life. That's something I'm very passionate about. I honestly couldn't care less whether you mention my name or not. But for the fact that you told me that, hey, I wanna do this thing as an idea, and we figured out a way to make it come to life, I'm the happiest.
Yeah. I'm an absolute fan of the story. I just wanted to also find out how the whole thing of you. I mean, for a long time we knew you as a drummer, and that was it. We didn't know other things. We didn't know if you wrote music or you produced or but now, what did you actively have to do anything for your other sides to come across, for other people to know? For example, with my vision, I'm gonna go to Upule, and he's going to make sure that this thing comes to life.
I think I actively had to do stuff. So my production thing actually started when I started the whole music thing. There was this show called Backstage when I was in primary school.
Yeah, I remember Backstage.
And I said to my parents once that I want to go to that school. I don't know what they do there, but I want to go there. Sure. And there you sort of got to see a picture of guys on stage, guys doing stuff behind the scenes. And I liked the idea of just the guys that do stuff behind the scenes that you can put into life. So when I got to Pretoria, when I was still studying at Okrem, I met Ulebo Morolo. That's where I first met Ulebo. And we had a conversation. And in the conversation, it was like, hey, I really love I love this behind the scenes type of thing. And then he sort of became like a mentor, and he still is. And he started telling me, no, at that time he was working with Shorter. So he would tell me, no, this is actually what you're trying to say. This is what it means. This is what you need to do. So from that relationship, I got to meet other guys doing it behind the scenes. And then by God's grace, me and a friend of mine started a group called Soul back in the days. And then it was a music group, gospel vibes. We just wanted to write songs and sing. But then unfortunately, someone had to put the music together. So that was like my proper training ground where I'm like, okay, I'm a drummer, and I need to give vocals what to sing. I need to give guys what they need to do. So that was my training ground up to now. And I think it got quite popular in and around Pretoria, and that sort of got people's attention. That's how Lebo, for example, we studied with Lebo at school, but then the production side of it, that's how she was introduced to it. There's a song that was written for her. So I put it together, and she liked how it sounded. And she's like, hey, man, I've got this thing happening, and I would love you to be a part of it. So that's pretty much how people got aware of me being more than a drummer. And I think the fact that when I do stuff, I try to do everything, whether you know it or not. I'm a guy that goes in, man. If you call me, Luke, and say, I want you to just come and make loops for me. And if I come to a rehearsal and something is uneasy with me, I will try sort it out somehow.
Okay.
And then a lot of guys sort of started picking that up as well, to say, okay, this guy actually has more outside of playing drums. So in conversation, it would be like, yo, man, if you get this guy, a lot of the things you're worrying about are gonna fade away.
2 mile person in a 1 mile world.
Yeah. So I think that's the one thing that I actually did, to get to this place.
No, great. Go for it, Lee.
Cool.
Are you frozen?
How important is serving? Where? Am I from you?
Yeah, you're cool. You're cool now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Getty, how important is serving for you as a man and as a husband and as a servant? How important is that for you? Because I see you've got the encounter and you've got the also church as well happening here and there.
Yeah. I think for me, man, serving is probably the best way to learn anything and to get anything from anyone. Everyone in life wants someone to do something for them, whether they know it or not. They only realize when it happens that, hey, I actually needed this thing. So for me, that's something that I've sort of learned. And I think as a Christian, Jesus was probably the best servant ever. He washed his disciples' feet. And I recently found out that the situation there was quite interesting. So apparently in the Jewish culture, when the guys are eating, for example, they sit in a circular vibe. Yeah, and obviously shoes were not a thing back then. So you are walking in cow dung, in camel dung, and all of the things. And then exactly. And then now there is this guy who is the Messiah, who is literally their king, He's coming down to come and wash all of your feet, knowing where they've been.
Because he was there with you.
Exactly. Knowing where they've been and coming down to you guys. So for me, I think that's a principle that I feel like has gotten me to where I am right now as a musician, as a husband, as a father, just making sure that when everyone looks at me, they're like, this guy helped me get a step further, and whether it was monetary value or not, it's besides the point. My wife must not hear that.
No, it's going to be equivalent to GPV. looks like there's a gender-based violence happening there at home. This one is saying. so okay.
This one right here.
I wanted to ask also, Uchi, do you think that our industry is doing enough to embrace new concepts? Or do you think that we're all kind of just channeled, to maybe sounding the same? Because I'm saying this because I feel, okay, I don't want to influence, your response, but generally it feels somewhat like, everybody is kind of being channeled. It doesn't matter whether in the gospel space or in music as a whole. Do you think that we are free thinking enough to embrace someone else's, whatever perspective, no matter how strange it might be?
I think we are not free enough in the country, in our industry, because a lot of what we receive is streamlined from a certain state, which I will not mention.
Yeah.
And we've made the state the pinnacle of everything. And as great as the state is and the industry is, there is far greater people. They've just got great PR.
Sure.
They've just got great PR. Nati siaba PRela, like nobody's business.
Right.
So but at the same time, I think in the past 6-7 years, there's a bit of openness that's starting to come around the industry to say, if you're doing something and you're doing it well, consistently enough, there will be space for you. I mean, Dr. Tumi came and did this thing. Everyone thought, Yazin, this looks to me.
Yeah.
But look at him now. So I think if you're doing it consistently enough and you believe in what you're trying to achieve, I think the space will be made. I don't think. I was saying to someone, they were saying something about Chandler Moore. He's trending in the States right now as a singer. I'm like, I don't think this guy was convinced he could sing from the day he started. He's got a weird tone, and he's just got a bunch of weird things that he does as a singer.
Sure.
He just found someone that said, you know what, I'm gonna take this and make it amazing.
Yes.
And I think that's all we need, And I think Pharrell Williams is also a great example of that, where he just takes some of the weirdest things and makes them sound amazing, including himself.
Yeah.
He is not the greatest singer, but he sings every other day, So I think over the years, there's this space of, okay, if you're doing it long enough and consistently enough, we can try make space for you, But it's not natural, like you were saying earlier on. Something first needs to be fed to us by the media before it becomes right.
All right, cool. Go for it.
Skulu, I think I saw your name on one of the symbols, Sabian symbols. How's that going? And the Sona endorsement, are we still together there, or are you adventuring to other brands? What's going on there?
With Sona, I'm still there. There was just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happened in terms of certain stores selling and doing stuff. So then it sort of messed up a lot of the technical stuff with it. So it's almost coming to an end now. But then we got into lockdown, so that just made the process even longer. But it's still a thing, and we're hoping to just get everything up and running again, because I think Sona was doing very well. And I mean, till today, we still get people that are like, hey, Jens, that red thing, I still want it. So trying to sort of sort that out. And Fabian as well, I'm still with Fabian and Vater as well. Those are still my brands. I don't think I'm ready yet to go anywhere else. And I think I've got a good relationship with the guys, not to try and mess it up now because of what might look like greener pastures.
All right.
Hey, that's nice, man.
What is your dream for the industry, my brother?
Sure. My dream for the industry, man, is to see guys living their personal life dreams, not career dreams. Living their personal life dreams through the entertainment or through the industry itself, I was saying to someone was asking me why I got married at a young age. I was like, hey man, I grew up wanting to get married and wanting to have a family, and I was not gonna let music disturb that dream. You know, music is supposed to help me achieve that. You know? So that's my biggest dream for the industry, man. To see all the guys in the industry be able to live their personal lives. That Lamborghini that you want to do, it must happen through what you're doing now, you know.
No, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you, my brother.
Go for it. He was in the spirit.
No, he is. He's working. Now I can see that
this same spirit.
This thing of yours is a real thing. You know, because you know something, you must test spirits. You must test spirits. So I know now I've gotten mine. I'm like, no, this man is called.
Go for it. And I think the last thing is also, I think my dream is for integrity in the industry. I think that's the biggest downfall that we're experiencing. I think worldwide, not even just in our country. Just integrity in how we do business, how we do stuff. A lot of things can go right if you do it the right way. You know, I recently, I don't know if you guys know the movie Malcolm and something. I recently found out that the production company gave the crew 1% each for the production.
Whatever they make.
Proceeds.
Yeah. So they all have 1%.
They're shareholders.
And when I saw that, I'm like, exactly. And I mean, as if you're part of that crew, as a cameraman, when you know I've got 1% of whatever we make here, the way I'm going to engage this opportunity or this job is way different than if I had given them an invoice and they paid me my invoice and life goes on.
True.
So yeah.
Hey, yeah, I think that one needs an episode. But go for it, Lee.
On its own.
Yeah. Go for it.
A call back on its own. Do you ever see yourself being more like your father as a leader in the church or in the community, exploring those parts? Are you a leader in your church?
Yeah, I think I've found myself in that space unawarely, you know, with stuff like Muso as well. It's a dream that we've had with a friend of mine for years, that started years ago. So it's only coming to life now in the past 2 years or so. So definitely, I think it's part of my life journey to sort of go into that leadership direction, not into the pastoral direction, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I'm just in the vicinity, Jay, with everyone else. But yeah.
So you're supporting you're supporting. I think this is what I keep hearing as a underlying theme in all of these things that we're discussing, is that you're really, called to support people's visions. You know, people have whatever that they might be trying to achieve, and you absolutely thrive, and you love being the person who is there to help them reach whatever thing that they're trying to get to. So I guess even also with like Pastor Wood and is it Pastor Hood?
Yes.
Hood. With a Pastor
Hood.
Let's go with
even with Pastor Hood, it's more on a support basis.
Yeah, well, I personally haven't felt the urge that I am called into that direction, even though there's a few other people with other opinions around it. Personally, I don't think so. I think for me, I'm more of I want to do this. I'll be the guy that's okay. We don't have the way to make it happen, but let's make it happen either way.
Sure.
I like you saying, I thrive in those spaces, and I think I also just love seeing people thrive in general. Knowing that me being there for 2 minutes made you a better person or made you get something. I'm the happiest in that space, man. And I guess it's sort of it's intertwined with this pastorhood thing, because technically that's their job.
Sure. Technically.
Get people into a better, yeah.
No, true.
To get people into a better headspace, better spiritual space, better mental, all of these things space, So currently I'm flourishing in more of getting people's visions happening I'm not sure if personally I'm there yet.
Okay.
But yeah.
So my last question is, if you were to go back to your 12-year-old self, interesting because you were 12 when you, it's a question you ask everybody.
When you started playing.
Yeah. So if you were to go back to your 12-year-old self, what advice would you give yourself?
I'd probably say to myself, work harder, and don't allow disappointments to stop you from continuing with what you wanted to do.
Big.
Because for me, I think, just to add on to that, I think the reason I'd say that is because I think for me, a lot of times when you're a person that serves, it's easy for everyone to sort of feel like, this is our ball that we can jump on as and when we please.
Sure. So
there's a disappointment that comes along the way, and obviously get discouraged for a few months or so, but then you wake up and you get up again. So that's the one thing I'd say to my 12-year-old, that hey, keep working, keep serving, irrespective of what happens. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very dope, point to leave it at. Hey, my brother, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. I think it's going to be another crazy episode. If you are sitting here right now, make sure you follow this guy. What are your handles?
June is explosive.
Yeah. What are your handles? But we're going to put them, but I want you to say them.
Yeah, they're going to run.
Yeah, they all Mpeke. Well, personal profile on Facebook is Mpeke, page is Mpeke, Instagram is @Pule_Mpeke, I think. Twitter as well. It's all my name.
Mpeke, yeah. No, great. Yeah. If inconfusing, because I saw that you've got 2 accounts there, but it's fine. I think we'll discuss it offline. Thank you very much for coming through, my brother.
That's
Thanks, I made it. Thanks for having me, guys.